When God begins to promote you in the spiritual realm, the world doesn't announce it. There's no ceremony, no public recognition, no visible shift that others can see, but something is changing. You feel it, you sense it. Even when everything around you looks the same, you know that heaven is moving on your behalf. If you've been wondering whether God is actually working behind the scenes, if you've questioned whether your season of waiting has purpose, this message is your confirmation. What feels like delay is actually divine positioning. What looks like silence is actually spiritual elevation. Stay with me, because I'm about to reveal the 7 unmistakable signs that God is quietly promoting you in the Spirit, and why what's happening in the unseen realm is far more powerful than anything the world could give you. If this is already speaking to your spirit, go ahead and subscribe right now. This channel exists to help believers understand what God is doing in the seasons that don't make sense. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next. The first sign God is promoting you spiritually is that the things that used to satisfy you don't anymore. The conversations feel empty. The entertainment feels hollow. The relationships that used to be enough suddenly feel draining. You're not being difficult. You're not becoming judgmental. You're being elevated. When God is preparing you for a higher calling, He starts by changing what you hunger for. What once entertained you now bores you. What once impressed you now feels meaningless. What once filled your time now feels like a waste. This isn't depression. This is divine dissatisfaction. God is creating hunger in you for deeper things, eternal things, kingdom things. Look at how Jesus prepared His disciples. He didn't just teach them theology, He changed their appetites. Matthew 4:19 says, "Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." He didn't ask them to add ministry to their fishing business. He asked them to abandon what satisfied them in the natural so they could hunger for what mattered in the spirit. When your appetite shifts, it's not a loss. It's a sign you're being promoted beyond where you were. God is weaning you off the lesser so He can feed you from the greater. This is not isolation. This is elevation. The second sign is removal. God begins to quietly pull you out of spaces where you used to belong. The group chats go silent. The invitations stop coming. The circles you were part of suddenly feel closed to you. And it's not because people are being malicious, it's because God is being strategic. Before promotion, there is always separation. Joseph had to be removed from his father's house before he could rule in Pharaoh's palace. Moses had to be separated from Egypt before he could lead Israel. David had to be pulled from the sheep fields before he could stand in the king's court. Separation feels like rejection, but it's actually divine redirection. God doesn't remove you from what's good for you. He removes you from what's limiting you. Those rooms were fine for who you were, but they're too small for who you're becoming. 1 Samuel 16:11 reminds us that David was left in the field while his brothers stood before the prophet. He wasn't forgotten. He was being hidden for a purpose. While everyone else was being seen, David was being prepared. And when the time came, the anointing didn't go to the ones in the room. It went to the one God positioned in the field. If you're being removed, you're not being left behind. You're being set apart. If you're recognizing this pattern in your own life right now, if you're seeing how God has been separating you from what you used to be part of, go ahead and drop a comment below. Just say, "I see it," or "This is me." Your testimony might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. The third sign of spiritual promotion is that your prayers start sounding different. You're not just asking God to fix your situation anymore. You're asking Him to fix you. You're not praying for easier circumstances. You're praying for a stronger character. You're not begging for what you want, you're surrendering to what He wants. This is one of the clearest indicators that you're maturing in the Spirit. Immature believers pray for comfort. Mature believers pray for transformation. Immature faith says, "God, remove this." Mature faith says, "God, use this." When Paul prayed 3 times for his thorn to be removed, God's answer wasn't removal. It was grace. 2 Corinthians 12:9 says, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." Paul stopped praying for the problem to go away and started praying for the strength to carry it with purpose. When your prayers shift from asking God to change your life to asking God to change your heart, that's when real promotion begins. Because spiritual elevation isn't about getting what you want, it's about becoming who God called you to be. The fourth sign is this: you're seeing things you couldn't see before. You're sensing people's intentions. You're noticing patterns. You're picking up on what's not being said. You're discerning spirits in rooms, in relationships, in environments. And sometimes it's uncomfortable. This isn't suspicion. This isn't judgment. This is the gift of discernment, and God gives it to those He's preparing for leadership. You can't protect what you can't perceive. You can't steward influence without the ability to discern truth from performance, sincerity from manipulation, God's voice from every other voice competing for your attention. Hebrews 5:14 says, "Solid food is for the mature, who by constant use have trained themselves to distinguish good from evil." God is sharpening your spiritual senses because He's positioning you in places where discernment will be your greatest defense. If you're suddenly seeing red flags you used to ignore, if you're sensing things that others miss, if you're uncomfortable in spaces that used to feel fine, don't dismiss it. That's not paranoia. That's God giving you the vision you'll need for where He's taking you. And if this message is helping you understand what God is doing in your life right now, do me a favor. Hit that like button. It helps this message reach other people who are fighting the same battle you are. Someone out there needs to hear this today. The fifth sign God is promoting you. You can't tolerate mess anymore. Not just physical mess, spiritual mess, emotional mess, relational mess. Chaos used to be normal. Drama used to be manageable. Dysfunction used to be something you could work around. But now it exhausts you. It drains you. It repels you. This isn't you being difficult. This is God raising your standard. Before He gives you influence, He gives you intolerance for what doesn't align with His order. Before He gives you a platform, He gives you a conviction about what belongs on it. Nehemiah couldn't rebuild the wall while tolerating the rubble. He had to remove what was broken before he could construct what was whole. When God is promoting you, He begins by removing your ability to coexist with what He's called you to confront. If you're finding it harder to stay in messy situations, if you're losing patience with people who refuse to grow, if you're no longer able to justify dysfunction as just how things are, that's not you being harsh. That's God preparing you to build something that requires order. The sixth sign is this: your private trials are intensifying while your public recognition is minimal. You're fighting battles no one knows about. You're passing tests no one is watching. You're growing in ways no one sees. And it feels unfair. It feels like you're doing all this work in the dark while others are being elevated in the light. But here's the truth. What God is building in you in private is far more valuable than what people see in public. Every warrior is trained in secret before they're sent to the battlefield. Every king is anointed in private before they're crowned in public. 1 Samuel 16:13 says David was anointed in private, but he didn't take the throne for years. The anointing came first, the platform came later, and in between was a season of private testing, private warfare, private faithfulness. If you're being tested more than you're being celebrated, you're not forgotten. You're being fortified. God is building something in you that the crowd can't touch, the critics can't diminish, and the enemy can't destroy. The seventh and final sign: you're carrying a weight that doesn't make sense, but you can't put it down. It's not just responsibility, it's a spiritual burden. A burden for people, for truth, for the kingdom. You feel the weight of intercession. You feel the weight of calling. You feel the weight of something bigger than you that you can't ignore and won't abandon. This weight is the mark of someone being prepared to carry influence. Casual believers don't carry burden. Promoted believers do. When God is elevating you spiritually, He begins to entrust you with the things that matter to His heart. You start praying for people who don't know you're praying. You start carrying vision you haven't been given permission to share yet. You start feeling responsible for things you have no authority over yet. That weight is not punishment. That weight is preparation. Nehemiah carried the burden for Jerusalem's walls before he ever touched a stone. Esther carried the burden for her people before she ever stepped before the king. And you're carrying something now that you'll steward later. If you feel a weight that doesn't make sense, don't try to escape it. That's the sign God is promoting you. He's making you strong enough to carry what He's about to release. You are not being overlooked. You are being prepared. You are not being delayed. You are being positioned. You are not forgotten in the waiting. You are being formed in the wilderness. When God promotes you quietly in the Spirit, the world doesn't see it yet. But heaven does, the enemy does, and soon the evidence of what God did in private will be undeniable in public. You're not the same person you were 6 months ago. You're not the same believer you were a year ago. God has been working, shifting, separating, elevating, and it's all been leading to this. The promotion is happening. You just can't see the full picture yet. If this word touched your spirit, type this boldly in the comments. I'm being promoted. And if this message blessed you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone who needs to hear it today. Your testimony might be exactly what sets someone else free. God bless you, and I'll see you in the next one.